Hi, I'm Brian Mallow, and I'm speaking with E. Lin, who is a physicist and material scientist at Lawrence Berkeley Labs. E, thanks for joining me.
Hey, Brian, thank you for having me here.
Did I get that right? Like physics, material science? It's not a simple answer, but that's the area you work in the energy sciences and material sciences directorate at Berkeley?
Yes, that is the principle I'm working on. I use some experimental method to study material science, and we focus less on the application, but more on understanding how some fundamental physics principles work on those materials.
And you're a postdoc at Berkeley. Let me ask you, like, your path to there. You're from China?
Yes.
And where did you do your undergraduate, or especially your graduate and PhD work?
Yes, so I finished my undergraduate school in a degree in physics in the University of China in Beijing. And then I applied for graduate school for a PhD program in US. And I get admitted to Columbia University in New York City. So I had a pretty good time in New York City with a lot of outreach and exploration for like 5 years. And after that, in 2019, I moved to Berkeley and joined the ultra-fast program in the material science division at the Berkeley Lab.
How are you liking it there? It's been a strange 2 years, of course. You can't really judge the Bay Area by the weird 2 years that you've spent there during the pandemic.
I mean, I like Berkeley very much. You know, I was in New York City. There's so many things to do. At one moment, I would think that, oh, New York City is the place I will be ended up, and I have no place that can be better than New York City. But it turns out I'm wrong. I like Berkeley very much. I think besides the great science and scientists and the great scientific community here, the humanitarian culture here is also very good. My point is that you have many kind and very helpful and very, diverse people in Berkeley. That and as well as the weather, like everything in Berkeley so far I enjoyed very much.
Yes, I love it. So I am in North Carolina in Raleigh now, but I used to live in San Francisco, and I'm so envious of the weather. I miss the amazing Bay Area weather and so many other things. It's just a great cultural place, like you said. There's so much.
Yes, there are a lot of interesting people around that you can learn something or work with.
And it's definitely one of the most multicultural places in the United States, the Bay Area. Yeah. So I love that. And did you always know that you wanted to go into science?
No. I like in China, like when I get admitted to a physics program for undergrad school in China, it was started more about score. You have a high score to choose some good university and some hard subject that you can learn something. So I didn't have a very specific interest in physics for my undergrad school, but and then I got to admitted to Columbia University, and there are a lot of choices when you are in New York City, right? You can choose to study physics, you can choose to go to Wall Street, and you can try to be in industry for some company. So it's about self-exploration, and only until very recently, after a lot of comparison, talking to other people and know more about myself and how my work style and my personal characters, I graduated to realize actually doing science and pursue a career maybe in future as a professor actually fits to my personal style as well as my long-term vision for the most part.
Interesting. But you have other interests, and you're a singer?
Yes. Like I was very lucky to know some very famous and senior singer when I was in New York City. And because of financial support from Columbia University, I was able to study voice lessons with them for 3 years for free. And after coming to you, so that I got chance to sing some like opera piece as a leading character in some like show like Dear Fledermaus and some Italian opera. So after I come back to even right now, I'm in Berkeley. I'm still have contact with the local music department in the Berkeley University, so that once in a while. I was seeing some like leading character in some showcase or some concert, and I enjoyed that very much.
Amazing. So let's talk about your work a little bit. So you're a postdoc in the Energy Sciences and Material Sciences Directorate. What are you working on? What's the nature of your research?
Okay, so the nature of my research, let's say, it's about physics, which means that we want to understand something, the principle how something works in nature. And the second thing is that we study materials. We want to find the new materials. The method we studied, the method we use to study those materials are not theoretical but experimental. We have some fancy spectroscopy that we can combine lasers and high vacuum chamber, all those advanced technology that we can detect how electron behavior is in some novel material. And we want to try to solve some big issue or big problem, like understanding how superconductor works and how those fundamental new principles can help us build up next generation of electronic device or chips. So that is the vision of my research.
So that's the big picture. Could you elaborate on that? Is that the work that you're doing? What's the big? Why does the non-scientist care? What are you doing that affects the life of the non-scientist? What would I understand about the work you're doing on that level of the application?
I see. So my research has a long-term influence in future application, but it can be 5 years, it can be 20 years. So it's not an immediately kind of application like many other ethical field, like they are dealing with water, so like water or some battery, they are very instant kind of influence and impact. But our research is about understanding some fundamental principles, how particles and how electrons or quasi-particles form and interact with each other in some new material. And specifically, as what I will talk about in my SLAM talk, that I am studying the dynamics of some material by doing time resolve measurement with lasers. So it's a very emerging field that people want to study a non-equilibrium effect rather than equilibrium effect in the coming years, because the equilibrium, like people have been doing that for many years, but the excited and the non-equilibrium effect are the other parts that still developing in terms of instrumental and the theoretical tools. So that is the field I'm dedicating to.
So this is fundamental research. This isn't applied science. This is basic fundamental research.
Yes,
that other people will. Yeah. So excellent. What is it you love about doing this? Why? What is it that appeals to you about the kind of work you do?
I see. So, I think the best kind of condition for people to go for work is somehow they like it and they enjoy it. When they wake up in the morning, they feel, oh, today I'm not being forced to work, but somehow I like to work. So you're asking why I like my work? Do I like my work or why I like my work? Yes, I like my work, and the reason I have been thinking about it for a while, and actually the reason is interesting, that somehow I have a character that I want to enjoy stage and being in front of public, and being a professor somehow provides me a very large landscape I can explore by doing that. For example, if I give a lecture, I have to be very good in knowing something, and then I deliver them to students. So I will be on a stage to teach a course, and then to do fundraising, I have to make some concept and make my research interesting, and doing marketing for my research to convince people that this is important. Please give me money. And giving a talk is the same thing, that I will present my result. And based on except all of those, I like doing research in terms of understanding that people doesn't know, because all of those giving away must have something that I can create by myself. So I can create something and then present them and give it away. So that kind of overall lifestyle somehow excites me, and I feel thrilled and very enthusiastic in terms of living such a kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, and you mentioned the opportunity to be on stage. So the Science Slam, is an interesting form of public outreach for science. And have you done much other public outreach besides maybe teaching like a professor would? Have you done any other public outreach? And do you think that's an important part of your job?
Yes, outreach is important. Like when I was at Columbia, I was the vice secretary and the vice president for the Optical Society student chapter at Columbia. So we organized a lot of events like Women in Science, or like some how do you call it, like some creative, like some creative like farm market that they have like demonstration of science project, and I can show those to the audience. So all of those outreach are similar to SLAM, but SLAM is different. It's about oral presentation of something within very short period of time, like 3 minutes. So this is a special format I didn't really experience before. So I'm very glad that the lab can provide such a opportunity.
Yeah, how are you feeling about it? Are you looking forward to it? Are you nervous? Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm very excited, not very nervous, because there's one thing I have been trying to do, but not really for living. But if there's a chance, I would like to try that. Look, I do science. I also sing opera. So at one moment, I want to combine some. I want to try to create something that I can combine these two together. And SLAM actually give an opportunity, because in my SLAM, I want to use some rhyme and use some repeats and use some rhythm, as if we have those in lyrics in singing, to emphasize, to deliver the scientific message. So it's more like a scientific poetry, that kind of genre I'm thinking about in my head. And the SLAM is a great opportunity for me to try something like that.
Well, excellent. And that's a great note to end on. And I really look forward to seeing your research SLAM, and good luck in the competition.
Thank you very much. And it's my great pleasure to talking to you.
Thank you. Elin.